So I want to say a story about the Chinese user of the ao3. So basically, like the ao3 doesn't have a Chinese version. Like most of the things they write in English, they only have an English UI. So except for the help parts or the other parts which they have some like explanation things which they use Chinese to write it, like they have a Chinese version. But like for most of the Chinese users whose like English is not that good, so they have a little bit hard time when they first start using the ao3. But so there's another part of the story is like it's keeping getting harder and harder to write something and publish. It's not like publish it, just post it on the Chinese website. Like they gonna block you immediately and give you a notation that like said you obey the rules or you it's illegal or something. Like they always have a reason, but when you ask them like which parts is illegals or which parts is like you're not satisfied, and they never give you a reason. And this is like keep happening. Like we have thinking about so many ways to avoid it, like translate sorry, I didn't like actually write it down, so I would just like speak whatever I am thinking about. So we even translate the documents into a picture version, or like we reverse it, or we do a lot of things and try to avoid it. And we even like put some marks between the words so let the system can't recognize it. But even we do so many efforts, like of course this efforts is like gonna give the readers a really bad experience when they're reading it, but we still can't publish it like in the most of the times. Like sometimes you can publish it, or like it depends on your if you're good luck you can post it. If you're not lucky today, and they're gonna bond you. So it's always give us a really hard time. So the Chinese users, we start to use ao3. I'm not actually one of them like who just starts using within these years, because like I used to read some of the fun functions about the Doctor Who or Transformers or Batman things like before, like starts on 2012. But it is the truth that there's like more and more new users like around the Chinese community to start using the ao3. So basically this is the truth. And there's also another truth is like because the English is not our uh, like the first language. So basically like there's a lot of people users like they're not really good at using it, so they makes a lot of the problems. Like some of them they think that underage means that the bottom one is younger than the bottom one is younger than no, the top one is younger than the bottom one, even though they're both adults. It's still using the underage, because the underage, this word is like looks so similar to the words we use in Chinese to stand for this kinds of ship, this kind of shape. So this is one of the things the mistakes they made. And there's always another things mistakes they made, like they sometimes gonna post their works on the find them like One Direction, which is like the first option you can choose in the fandom. But like they're not actually the fandom you should choose. And also like they sometimes put the ships or the characters in the fandom because they actually don't have a perfect idea about what is the fandom and what is the talk and so many things. but like things are getting better, like from like both ways. And for the new users, for the authors, like Chinese authors, like there's some like old users, we gonna write some of the like introductions or things like that to tell them how to do this, and even translate the whole page to them, so they start learning, and they start to know which parts they should fill in what things. And also from the ao3, they have like so many volunteers, like they could merge some of the same meaning talks, and like especially the Chinese ones, so things are getting better and better. So we have like so many users, and there's like even some new users ask me to give them invitation code. I actually gave like 3 or 5 of them. I didn't remember. So and we start reading the Chinese language, like the Chinese fun functions in the ao3. But all of a sudden, all of this thing just sharply stop, because there is a stars or an idol named Xiao Zhan, which is a pretty new idol in China. He has some really crazy fans, and his fans think the one of his fan functions is harmful for his I don't know the it's just like they thought it's gonna be harmful for this idol, and because they write in this ones like it has some like how to say that, like an adult context instead of that function. So they thought it is not a good thing for this idol. So what they do is the first thing they do is they report it to the Chinese Weibo, and also and I don't think they have actually reported this to the ao3, because the ao3, of course, they don't actually care about this thing. And like okay, let's jump to the final result. Is like this starts calling the government. The Chinese government said the ao3 is containing so many of the adults things, like they try to describe it like the Pornhub, which I don't know why they're trying to do this, but they trying to saying this, and at the result is like the Chinese government just banned the whole ao3 website. So this is like I don't know. So it's actually make everyone who use ao3 like in China like pretty angry. So we but there's nothing we can do. Like basically, like you can't see any bad words for the government, or they have the police, or they have like police in the internet, and they gonna like I don't want to see more, because like someone probably gonna see this video, especially the Chinese people gonna see this video, and somebody gonna said like you make it, what you said is unfair for the government. But let's just say that like it's not really safe to speak these things about China, and especially when you're in China. So and like in most of the times trying not against the government, even they do something like really it's just they're truly asshole. But that's not really important. Okay, so basically we were trying to do something to say that we're angry about this idol. So basically he's the idol. He has like so many like he has an advertisement, and so we said like if you make this advertisement, we just stop by the product that which has the advertisement which he make. And I'm not sure if this is actually working or something, but at least we're sure we're attribute. Like we want the freedom of writing the things, and it is really really a bad thing to report something to the government. I mean, and also it's not a really good thing when they report it and you just spawn the website, but that's not important. So what I'm saying here is just I want to tell someone who is interested in these situations, and who is not really good at who is not really good at Chinese, this kind of language. So I want to tell you what happens and what is the truth and how we're feeling about this and how this things is happening, but not go to the details. This is only a record for myself at basically actually like because I was actually have a really hard time thinking about it. I mean, things are getting better, and it's suddenly we have nothing. So that's all of it. I know, like, maybe no one gonna see this one, but I'm still record this. Okay, and goodbye.